Thanks for checking out this video. So this is my list of the best foreign language hidden gem films that are currently on Shudder, and I'm doing this video in October of 2022. So might do some more videos like this, months down the road when things are very different on Shudder, but yeah. Few disclaimers on this one. These are foreign language, so there are other foreign films on Shudder that are really good that I recommend that are in English, and I think a few of those ended up on my list of the best overall hidden gems that are not foreign language on Shudder, which I already have that video up, so you can check that. The other thing is I haven't seen everything on Shudder. Like a prime example is the film Terrified that's on Shudder is not on my list because I haven't seen it yet. I've heard great things, so I'm just going to tell you that I've heard a lot of recommendations of Terrified, but it's not on my list because I haven't seen it yet. At some point I will. So just know I haven't seen everything, but I've seen a good deal of the foreign language films on Shudder. So I feel like this is a good list. This is at least a basis for things I think you should definitely check out, especially if you're into foreign language films or you just want to broaden your horizons as far as what is horror like in other countries, because we should consider that more. So these are ranked. So I'm going to start with the last one, which is number 10. It is the film Them. This is a French language film that was the basis for the film The Strangers. So basically, The Strangers was a remake of Them. Having seen both, I prefer the original Them. So it's basically a group of people, home invasion, showing up at this place. You don't know why. I think the ending may make some people kind of mad, but I kind of liked the ending. But it does a really good job of kind of creating tension, maintaining tension, making it feel very real as far as home invasion type stuff goes on. So I'd say definitely if you've seen The Strangers, you should definitely check out Them because that's where it originated. So that's my number 10 was Them. My number 9 is The Last Matinee. Now this is a Spanish language film that it's not like a intellectual horror film. It's not like an amazing horror film. It is a mindless slasher that is a lot of fun, and it's really well shot. There's great use of color in it. You can tell that they were the filmmakers were very inspired by Dario Argento for a few reasons. The kills are really good. The gore is really good. Practical effects is really good. The killer is a great killer. I'm not going to say they reach an iconic status, but yeah. They basically go into a movie theater, and that's where the killings happen. So for someone like me, I enjoy certain settings, and movie theaters is one. So there you go. Other ones being malls and sleepy seaside towns, things like that. Trains, I do like trains, except I hate Terror Train. But anyway, number 9, The Last Matinee. If you like slashers, gotta see it. It's really good. Number 8, Teddy. This is another French language film. This is a werewolf film. There are not that many werewolf films out there. This one is an interesting one. It's not just an interesting one because it is a kind of different coming of age story about this kid who is becoming a werewolf, basically. But they deal with the matter in an interesting way. It's very different than what I've seen before. I'm not going to say why because I don't want to give stuff away. But it's shot extremely well. It is a beautiful film. It looks wonderful on top of it being an interesting film. So also, we don't get a ton of werewolf films out there, so when you get a good werewolf film, I think it's kind of like gold, because I quite like werewolf films. So that's why my number 8 pick is Teddy. Now my number 7 pick, another French language film, Knife and Heart. If you know me, if you've been watching my channel enough, you know I like giallo and giallo-esque films. This is a giallo-esque film that is centered around the porn industry. It's a queer film, and it's a slasher. It's very cool. It has a lot of fun kills to it. It looks awesome. It's very artsy in the way that it's constructed, and there's some funny kills in it. There are good-looking kills in it. It's a fun, entertaining, and engaging story as well. There is a good twist to it as well. And I think they did a really good job of kind of paying homage to giallo films in this. As far as more modern films, because it is a more modern film, when it comes to giallo or giallo-esque, I think it's definitely up there as one of the best. It's very enjoyable, so you should definitely check that out, especially if you like giallo. So that's why Knife and Heart is my pick for number 7. Number 6, a Swedish language film called Koko di Koko da. Now, this won't be for everyone. It is a little bit slow. It is cryptic. But when you get it, and it's powerful. It's very well shot. There is some good danger in the film. It's basically about a couple who end up losing their child, which it happens immediately in the film. And it's about them trying to deal with something like that. And then something starts to happen. Stick with it till the end. See if you can figure out what's going on. There's a really beautiful, I think it's called, I forget what it's called. Is it called shadow play? Where it's like the little paper cutouts that like do a play with shadows of the cutouts. It was used in the newest Candyman. Really cool looking thing. They do that at the very end to kind of like illustrate what they're trying to get at with the film. But it's a really powerful message. I got emotional at the end of the film, and it does take a decent amount to get me there with the emotional aspect of things, but it's a wonderful film, and you should definitely check it out. Koko di Koko da, number 6 for me. Now, number 5, one that was very recently added to Shudder that I think is a must for people, Saloum. Now, this film is French language and Wolof, and Wolof is actually a dialect from the country of Senegal. This is an awesome film. It's beautiful. It's very it's not just well shot in the sense of it looks cool. A lot of interesting camera angles, a lot of interesting camera movement. It starts out about these mercenaries who are on a mission, and then they have to kind of get away. They have to get away from things. So they go somewhere else, and they're kind of holed up at this place where it's like, I don't know, it's like some sort of like small type village situation, and there's a past there with the person who runs it and someone who's a part of the mercenaries, and things start to devolve, and there's a good building of tension, there's good action to it. And when I was first watching, I was like, are we even going to get to horror? Yes. You gotta wait for it. It comes in late, but they definitely get to a horror aspect, which is very interesting and different than a lot of things I've seen. And that's one of the reasons I like foreign language films, because horror a lot of times kind of borrows from lore of the region. And if you're just watching US films, like there's a whole lot of material out there that filmmakers making horror in the United States just are not mining. So this film really kind of exemplifies that, and that's why Saloum is my pick for number 5. Now, number 4, The Queen of Black Magic. This is an Indonesian film that is done by Joko Anwar. Now, if you're not familiar with Joko Anwar, every film I've seen by Joko Anwar, which I haven't seen a lot, but everyone is amazing. Amazingly shot, amazingly scripted. The story has impact. There's always a moment where the bottom just drops out of the film. That happens in The Queen of Black Magic, which is about a man who takes some friends with him to his old orphanage that he used to live at, but there's a dark past to the orphanage, and while they're there, things start to happen and things devolve. Joko Anwar also has a good way of making you emotionally involved in the films, and that makes it even better for when, well, better/not better, for depending on how you want to feel, for when characters have bad things happen to them. And there are some messed up things that happen. That's another thing that Joko Anwar does well, is messed up things, good gore, intense scenes. The Queen of Black Magic, really good. Check it out. That is my pick for number 4. Number 3 is actually an anime. It's called Perfect Blue, and it's a Japanese language film. This has actually been the basis for a bunch of other films that have come after it, including Black Swan. It's about a celebrity who ends up having a stalker. And for being an anime film, it's very dark, it's very tense, and it's messed up. And I think that for anyone who likes films kind of like Black Swan, this is a must, because this was kind of the precursor to that. It's a really well done story. The animation is really good. It's a little bit older, so it's an older style of animation that you need to be okay with. But it's a really good film. I highly recommend it. Perfect Blue is my pick for number 3. Now, number 2. This is another Joko Anwar film. It is Impedagor, so also Indonesian language film. This one is slower. This is a lot slower, in my opinion, than The Queen of Black Magic, but the same type of stuff applies to what I already said. You know, it looks amazing, great tension, gets you emotionally involved, all these things. When it comes to the end of this film, it is so messed up, but in a impactful, interesting, oh my gosh type way. Like, you have to see this film for the ending. Everything leading up to it is interesting. It's basically about a woman who has some kind of question about her past and family related to her past, and she goes to this old village where they supposedly lived, and she starts to just live there for a little bit and see what's going on, and things don't seem right. Things seem kind of off because she's there because of, like, inheritance, in essence. Like, she goes to the old house, and it's all dilapidated and everything, and the atmosphere in the film is extremely well done and maintained. It's very, very dark, and the ending is very, very dark. It's a must-see, in my opinion. So that is why Impetigore is my number 2. Now, my number 1 is a film that a lot of people may say isn't necessarily horror. And I can agree with that, but it is on Shudder, and it is amazing. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. That is the Finnish language film, Dogs Don't Wear Pants. This film made me very emotional. I think I may even have actually shed some tears at the end of the film. It is amazing. It is a beautifully shot film, very well acted. The overall story is about a man who loses his wife. He loses her in the very beginning, and it's about the grief, the sorrow that he's trying to go through. And he finds a way to deal with this by finding a dominatrix who starts to kind of show him a whole different aspect of life. And it's about him tapping into this kind of BDSM way of life that helps him in his grieving process in a way. It is just wow. It's very well done. It seems like a really weird concept, but it's executed in an amazing way, and it's got so much heart to it. It is very emotional. And there is, like, a little bit of a horror aspect to it, but like I said, a lot of people won't necessarily consider this horror, but it is my number 1, and it is phenomenal. So make sure you see Dogs Don't Wear Pants. I love it, I love it, I love it. Hopefully people like this list. If there are other films that you want to add, go ahead and put it in the comments. Also, if there are films not on Shudder that are foreign language that you think are definite musts, like, I want to see the original Pulse. That's been on my list for quite a while, and I just haven't gotten there yet. I want to see more Joko Anwar films, stuff like that. So go ahead and put it in the comments. Do me a favor, hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. I do have another list video coming of the best So Bad It's Good films at the moment on Shudder. So hopefully you look forward to that one. Hit the notification bell button, hit the subscribe, all that jazz. But thank you for watching this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.